Hi, my name is Danny Brown. I'm the CEO of Myriad Real Estate Group, and today we're going to talk about who's buying and who's selling. If you watch any of my market update videos, you'll know that I've been talking a lot about how overall activity in the greater Phoenix area is definitely down. So not a lot of people are selling and not a lot of people are buying, but there are just over 8,000 homes listed for sale in greater Phoenix, and there is still transactions happening every single day. So who are the ones that are selling and who are the ones that are buying? There's pretty much a flat line or a baseline within our country of total activity that happens every year, and that tends to hover around 4 million home sales every year. That's kind of our minimum based on our population size. And that is going to be due to death, divorce, people relocating for work, growing families, shrinking families, those big major life events that take place. So in greater Phoenix, we're seeing a lot of people who are selling that are relocating for work. So there's a lot of industry being built up. So we see a lot of people moving to be closer to work. You know, the work from home trend that was there is kind of starting to come to an end a little bit. So more businesses are calling people back. And so people are relocating closer to work. Then we're seeing individuals going through divorce. So I think the divorce rate is up a little bit in this post-COVID world. And so when people are going through a divorce, they have this asset that they owned together. It's really hard to refinance out of a low rate to be able to buy the other spouse out. So a lot of times those people have to sell the home and then split the proceeds. And then of course we have people who pass away. Arizona, Phoenix is a large retirement population, and those individuals, unfortunately, death and taxes are guaranteed for all of us. And when you pass away and you own a home, you have to, your estate has to sell it. So that's primarily what's making up a lot of the market in terms of sellers. Well, who's buying? Well, Phoenix is still an influx or attracting people to Phoenix on a monthly basis. So our population is still growing. People are relocating to Phoenix and they need housing. And then a large segment of buyers is actually first-time home buyers. So while affordability is very tough, first-time home buyers actually can buy in this market because they're getting concessions from the sellers to help them buy their rate down and try to make their monthly payment a little bit more affordable. So we're seeing a large segment of people buying homes that are first-time home buyers. What's eventually going to happen is there's just going to be natural churn that takes place. I had a consultation just a couple weeks ago with a family who bought their home with me in 2010, 2011, and they bought it post financial collapse, so they got a really good deal on it. They recently refinanced and their mortgage is in the twos, but they have 2 young toddlers and they're only in 1,500 square feet. They need more space. And they're like, Danny, I don't care if my rate is 7%. I don't care if I'm paying $2,000 more per month. We need more space. You cannot put a price on my sanity. So their income has grown year over year, like a lot of us do. Typically you get a cost of living raise at minimum of 3%. A lot of people job hop and their income goes up. So people are just going to eventually need to move, and they will give up these low mortgage rates over time. The low mortgage rates are still very fresh, and so you're not seeing that quite yet. But as families grow, people need more space, people switch jobs, so you will start to see just natural churn take place within the market, regardless of low interest rates that they got during the COVID years. So the people who aren't moving are individuals like myself. When interest rates went to all-time lows, I talked to my wife and we asked ourselves, is the house that we're in the house that we're going to be in for the next 10 to 15 years? And the answer was no. It was not a house that we really wanted to raise a family in. So because interest rates were as low as they were, it pulled us forward probably 5 years ahead of what we would have done naturally. Had the market not gone through what it did, we probably would have just been content and stayed where we were at. But because rates were so low, we saw that as an opportunity. And so we bought a house I mean, honestly, bigger than what the two of us needed, but it was going to be a home that we could have a family in. And so during that time, you saw a lot of people sell the home that they were in order to buy their next home, even if they weren't in a position where they actually needed to have that extra square footage. They wanted to take advantage of that market and take advantage of those low interest rates. So what we're not seeing right now is a lot of in-city relocation. Not a lot of people are selling their current home in order to buy their next one, but you will start to see that within a few years just through natural events. And again, people's families growing, kids getting older, needing more space, kids moving out, and people needing less space. Those things are just going to naturally happen. So eventually you will start to see that churn, but in the short term, there's not a ton of people that are selling their current home to buy their next home. The other people that aren't really buying homes right now are iBuyers, investors. Phoenix is not really a great place to invest in right now because rent is actually coming down and the cost of housing is much higher. So it's actually more affordable by a substantial amount to rent than it is to buy. And so when that dynamic's at play, if you're an investor, it doesn't really pencil out. So investors who aren't restricted on location are looking in other states and other areas. The South is seeing a lot of growth in terms of property values because there's a lot of people investing there. Open Door, OfferPad are two big investors. They're iBuyers. They have not been making very competitive offers on people's homes because it's just not a very good environment for them. So their overall transaction count is super low. Now I am noticing a trend in their offers getting better on starter homes. So that difference between what fair market value is and what they're offering is narrowing on those kind of entry-level houses, because those are the homes that are actually selling right now, because there are quite a few first-time home buyers in the housing market. At the end of the day, I think that the right time to do something is when it's right for you, when you have a need, if you need more space, if you need less space, if you need to be close to work. It's not really a great time to do it because you want to. It's if you're trying to fulfill a need and you can afford that monthly payment. That's really what it comes down to. Ignore everybody like me who's saying it's a great time to buy, it's a great time to sell. It's very individualistic, so do it when it's right for you. And if you do have questions and want to talk through if it is the right time for you, definitely let me know. Reach out in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.